The Ancients World. Chapter 81, The Journey to Zenith City 19. The three of us set on the road to Zenith City. I take a look around as merchant cart after merchant cart is waiting for the road to open for official business. If you are a traveler you can walk yourself. The guards are making sure that all merchants aren't going. We cut to the front and start heading down the closed road. It's nice to have a road that isn't packed with traffic. Roads that lead to capital cities are always busy, but the recent war has stopped that. The only downside is the monsters, and I'm looking forward to the little bit of action after not being in any combat. I look over to Thosnell and I'm reminded of the questions I want to ask. I've never been to the capital of the dwarves, that's the first thing I want to ask about. Thosnell, do you mind telling me about the dwarven country? It's one of the places I eventually want to see. In my old future there is only so much you can do in 5 years. There are thousands of places I never got to visit or learn about, and the dwarven country is one of them. I have a thirst for lore and history, I can't help it when a world is rich with it. Thosnell laughs in a joyous way. Dwarves love to talk about their history. I heard it's one of the best things you can ask a dwarf. Tokil chuckles as well. I'll also want to know some things about his country. I may know some, but he will know way more. Well, my friend, the dwarven capital is called Mulden. It's located in a hollowed-out mountain range on the other side of the ocean called Ojiburn's Expanse. The mountain range is called Grimed Highlands. It has some of the tallest mountains in the world. Most of the land beyond Mulden is largely unexplored. In recent times some of our best scientists have discovered that the world constantly expands. I already knew this, but I didn't learn about it till many years after it became common knowledge. I heard that lands and oceans are constantly expanding and creating new areas from the forums in my old future. I wonder if players will have the same reaction they did last time. Many questioned how this was possible and the only answer was magic. How do you keep the mountain from collapsing in on itself? Hollowing out a mountain range for a capital city sounds very dangerous. Most knowledge on dwarves is hidden right now, and I knew nothing to begin with. I can't help asking questions like this. The time and effort put into hollowing out a mountain sounds taxing. The risk of collapse jeopardizes all that hard work, and dwarves are clever. They wouldn't do something like this without a guarantee of safety. He hums to himself in contemplation. He might be debating if he should tell me or not. In all honesty, only the master smiths know that secret. The devices created to do such a thing was crafted by our most genius scientists. That was thousands of years ago as well. For all I know, the device's blueprints are lost to time. Only the masters know, and they never leave their labs. That's interesting for sure. I feel like I want to ask Tokil some things about his people and culture as well. I converse with them for hours on history that I knew and didn't know. It's approaching afternoon now and we are taking a break. They have stopped to eat, and I have joined them. I know why Tokil is traveling the country, but why are you, Thosnell? I didn't think dwarves have a place in politics, and I find it hard to believe you are here to talk about products. They both look at each other in slight surprise at my deduction. I have some theories on why he is here, but I want to hear his words. He sets down his food and crosses his arms in thought. I'm not an NPC, so he might tell me, but for all intents and purposes this might be a secret mission or something. I'm impressed with your questions, Zirn. I'll tell you, but you have to promise you won't tell anyone. I nod my head yes and straighten out. I don't want to miss a word of what he says. I'm here to determine if my people should involve ourselves in the war. Believe it or not, there is a threat that the monster armies present to us as well. I've been talking to leaders and generals about the situation. When I send a report to my country, they will determine if we side with the humans or stay out of the war. In my old future, dwarves never went to war. This is also a first. I have a feeling that they will join, but I shouldn't speak so soon. This war just might make every thinking creature involved. The monsters may not stop until they are the only ones left. I wouldn't doubt they join the war, Thosnell. We have already lost an entire country to a horde. While Alsoma was smaller and weaker than Zenith, it's still impressive they crushed them so swiftly. As a new person I don't have to worry about dying, but the rest who aren't like us have to worry about the worst. They nod quietly at my words, and silently look at their food. I don't like bringing down the mood. I can't help myself from talking sometimes. If I have insight I have to say something. We continue to eat and talk about other things. Before long we are back on the road. Deep into the road to Zenith we hear nothing other than silence. This isn't normal in the loud woods full of birds and bugs that make noise. This place is too quiet, there isn't a single thing making a sound. Be on guard my friends. T.A.W says what I'm thinking. I draw my sword and prepare for combat just in case. Your blade gives off a unique feeling just like its looks. Do you mind me asking where you got that blade? T.A.W asks me about the witness. I don't want to give its true value away. I should answer them with something though. I swing it a little to show off how natural it feels to wield it. I got it as a reward from a quest, it has some great skills. I don't know much other than that though. T.A.W looks ready to ask another question, but we both swing our heads and look in the same direction. We got a single monster on its way. T.A.W sees the looks on our faces and draws his amazing looking battle axe, it outsizes him by quite a bit. He holds it like a master though. T.A.W draws his curved blade as well and gets into a combat stance. We got a visitor guys, and it feels strong. Be ready for a fight. They both nod their heads at my words. Soon the monster bursts out of the trees and breaks us apart with its hard landing. I backflip mid-air and land on my feet. T.A.W rolls out of the way and T.A.W jumps since his short legs can't do what we just did. I use inspect on the creature and I can't help my surprise of the level of the beast. This one is notorious for being a headache to kill. Steel-skinned jaguar LVL.90 Tier 1. 2,000,000/2,000,000 HP. Description: an apex predator that hates anything that invades its territory. Its skin makes it impossible to cause bleeding damage or dismemberment. Its weak point is its soft belly, exercise caution when engaging alone. Even though it's heavy, it moves extremely fast. I'm glad I'm not alone in this battle. I don't think my dismemberment perk will work on this guy, and the only thing I have that might is the curse of decomposition. I can ignore its defense since my sword does, but it's faster than all of us so we should cover each other's weaknesses and help our strengths. I'll go for stronger strikes near the head, it will dodge since it's fast. It can't cover all of us, when it jumps away be ready to attack its blind spots. It's a predator after all, it can't see to its side or rear. Try and hit the underbelly, if you can't then take what you can get. I announce my plan and both nod in understanding. I won't be able to hit this thing on my own, so having these two help a lot. We proceed to fight this damn thing for 20 minutes, T.A.W gets a great hit on the underbelly. I think he got a critical because it looks ready to die. We have been chipping away at its health for a while. I was worried that T.A.W would be too weak to help us, but he proved both me and T.A.W wrong. I keep going for the head over and over again, but it dodges a few more times before it lays down and gives up. We watch it bleed out and die. I don't like killing in such a manner. We can't risk a playing dead situation though, one of us can die. I then get system notifications as it closes its eye for the final time. Plus 2% EXP. Since I only landed a couple of regular hits I won't get any skill EXP, but 2% is good to me. Kind of surprised that the curse didn't work, bad luck in the 2 strikes I got. I haven't looked at my player status in a long time. I open my player stats and see where I'm at. Slayer, Zirn, LVL.61. EXP, 38/100%. Title, The Son of Archangel Michael, Hidden, plus 3 more. Stats. Strength, 2050 Endurance, 2000 Dexterity, 2080 Speed, 2195 Focus, 8500. Health, 16,200/16,200 Mana, 85,000/85,000. Stat points, 270 armor rating, 500. Inventory. Passive perks. Inheritor of the Sword, Son of Heaven, Slayer of Evil, Holy Willow Trees, Savior, Finder of Legends, the Divine who has legend, destined for greatness, Dungeon Diver. Active skills. Heaven's Light LVL.7325/700 protected by Heaven LVL.7225/700/LVL.174500/8000 parry LVL.180/100 double strike not applicable King Slayer not applicable Raging Machine not applicable. My slash will get better again once it reaches level 20, I don't think I'll be hitting level 62 till after I'm done getting my mana aura. By that time others will start doing their tier up quests as well, staying ahead of the players is only going to get harder. On the other hand, I'm already too strong for one to threaten me. I look at my quests and see I have a healthy amount of them. Tokil and Thosnal start walking and I follow. We should be arriving to Zenith City by tonight. It will be nice to see a capital city after so long. On the other hand, Zenith is still being rebuilt, so I shouldn't get my hopes up. Chapter 82, Arriving in Zenith City. We have been traveling all day now, and night is approaching us. I had to go through the invisible barrier like all players do. Tokil and Thosnal both had strange looks on their faces watching that. We are only a few minutes away and we can see the walls and some of the city from here. There is some damage to the landscape looking from here. I bet the city is busy as can be with rebuilding. I wonder if I'll get to see Jackson again. He is a king now, so he might not have time to have a friendly chat. I look over to my travel companions and see the solemn look at the devastation the area has been through. Dwarves are builders, seeing this might put a knot in Thosnal's stomach. Tokil is more used to combat, since proving your skill and honor in battle is common for lizardmen. They are not fond of war though. We came across some more monsters, but Tokil took care of them all. He is truly amazing with a blade. I've come to respect lizardmen even more than before. So once we make it to Zenith, my journey with you two will be over. I must say it has been fun. I'll need to search for the blind priest Sam. Problem is I don't know where to look. I pull up my tier up quest to see if I can get any clues to where he might be. Quest: Earn your wings. Description: you are proving that you're the progeny of Michael, so now it's time to earn what every true angel has. If you earn your wings, they will be an invaluable piece of you. They can help attack, defend, and you can use them to fly at extreme speeds. They can be hidden so your identity isn't revealed. Objective 1: head to your capital city and speak to an old blind priest named Sam. Objective 2: complete the quest Sam gives you. Quality: tier up. Rewards: your angel wings, divine mana aura quest. This is an incredible task, and your first step to true power. You are already an unreachable existence to your fellow players, but there are many enemies who grow fearful of your power. These enemies are stronger than you and you can't hope to beat them. With this quest you will be starting your real journey to power. I hope you don't waste your chance here. I won't give you another one like this if you fail. There are no clues to where Sam might be. I'll have to ask around. That is a huge risk and I don't want to be discovered. I need to find someone who knows people around Zenith, but isn't going to risk my identity. I have one friend here in Zenith, and that's Jackson, so that means I have no choice. I have to find a way to see him. He'll help me in a discreet manner. He knows my secret and has kept it all this time. He has proven that I can trust him. If he really was untrustworthy, the church would have already found me. I get out of my thoughts when Tokil asks me something. If you don't mind me asking, how did you new people come to be? I've heard rumors of your origins, but it's impossible to think that it's true. He will be shocked to learn that the rumors are true, but most players don't know the truth about Ancient's world either. In a way it's a two-way street. There are things we don't know about Ancient's world and there are things the NPCs don't know about us. I sigh and rub the back of my head. He might not like my answer. The rumors are half true. I don't know the whole answer because I don't have all the information. It seems unbelievable, but what's been said is true. Tokil looks at me with a look of doubt. I wouldn't blame him if he didn't believe me. I understand that look, Tokil. I would act the same way in your position. Just be careful around new people, you can kill them as many times as you want. They will always come back though, and most hold grudges. You aren't immortal like we are, and all the new people will grow to become very powerful. It would be wise to stay on the good side of us. I'm giving him valuable information and advice right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the lizardman welcomed players with open arms after Tokil reports this information back to his people. I look over to Thosnal and he has a contemplative look as well. The dwarves will probably open trade with the merchant and crafting players. We soon make it to the main gate into Zenith. I see guards and soldiers questioning people and going through their stuff. I bet these are people who lived in Zenith, but left when the war started. Most will find that their homes have been destroyed. We all line up in the short line and wait our turn as well. I look into the city and see constant construction. They are working hard to rebuild by the looks of it. We quickly get to the front of the line and are questioned as well. Tokil and Thosnal had to answer more questions than I did. After a few minutes they let us pass. We enter and see a half-ruined city, the other half is being rebuilt. I look towards the massive palace and see some damage to it as well. I have to say it has been a pleasure traveling with you two. I learned so much and you can be sure the information is safe with me. We say our goodbyes to each other and they both head to the palace, either to talk to the king or whoever else is in charge. I want to see if I can find Sam without asking Jackson first. I'm guessing even the church has been destroyed, so that isn't a place I can look. My best guess would be the people who take in the displaced, and since there are barely any buildings that leaves the farms. I'll have to ask around and see if there are any farmers still around. If there are, then that is where I should question first. As Sarah begins his search for Sam, said man is having a conversation with his brother. I can understand taking in so many homeless, but we are going to run out of food fast. I love that my little brother has such a kind heart, but we can't help everyone. Listen to me, Oliver, sheltering and feeding the displaced is a good thing. I worry for your family's health and livelihood though. If you keep giving away your food you won't have any left to sell to the city. Oliver is so much like Mom and Dad, that's why they gave him the farm after all. He has done such a great thing with it too, taken it way farther than anyone else in our family has. I hear him sigh and feel him sit down near me. Well, what am I supposed to do, Sam? I can't turn my back on these people, they already lost everything. It was you who taught me that those who have the means to help others should, and that's what I plan on doing. I'm positive Mom and Dad would be proud of his principles and character. I wonder what they would think of the failure I have become. If only I listened and didn't read the book Forbidden of the Seven Thunders, I would do anything to get my sight back. Perhaps when the sun meets me I can ask him to help, even though I was foolish and deserve this punishment. I still wish to see the light and people, not pitch darkness. With the city in ruin many will come here, this is one of the only safe places after all. Hopefully the sun finds his way here. I'll do my best to help him in any way I can, but I doubt there is much I can do without my sight. Oliver, can you bring me my walking stick? I want to unwind in the cool air of the night. I hear my little brother get up and walk away, soon he returns with the thumping of my walking stick. I've had a hard time adjusting to walking, but I've gotten better at it as of late. Hopefully one day I can walk without falling over, one day I'll land on something as stubborn as I am. I get up with my walking stick in hand and feel my way to the door. Once outside I can hear people talking to each other. Oliver helped set up makeshift tents, everyone who isn't in the barn is outside in the tents. I eventually find my way to the bricked road that leads to the viewing area. It was one of my favorite places to before my time in the Holy City. I can picture it in my head like I just saw it. I wonder what has become of the beautiful landscape with the war. I spend a couple hours sitting here until I'm interrupted by someone. Are you Sam by any chance? I hear a young man's voice, it's one I'm unfamiliar with. He walks over and stands beside me. May I sit down? I gesture for him to sit and he does. It's nice to not be alone when all you see is darkness. Chapter 83, A Complex Problem. I spent some time asking around in Zenith where the poor and displaced go. A guard was nice enough to point me in the direction of Oliver's farm. One of the homeless I talked to once I got there told me she saw Sam head out to the viewing pasture. I eventually found the blind man, and now I'm sitting next to him. I've been looking for you around Zenith. My name is Zirn. It's nice to meet you. He nods his head solemnly and just sighs as he looks out into the vast devastated lands. I know this place was beautiful at one point. Many players posted screenshots on the forums. I decide to just wait and let him finish what he's thinking about. After a couple minutes of silence he finally speaks. Can you tell me what it looks like out there? When I lost my sight I lost my mind for a time. The pitch darkness is heavy on my psyche. I guess his blindness was caused by something. I look out into the area that is lit by campfires and torches from guards. The light from the moon is making it easy to see everything. It must be completely wrecked if you have stayed quiet for this long. I was going to lie and say it looked fine, but he figured it out himself. I sigh myself, this Sam is a very depressing man. I might as well tell him what I came for. I doubt he has a quest he can give me though. I've come to you about my T.A.W. quest. He looks in my direction like I'm stupid, he must not know about me then. I have a T.A.W. quest that has told me to come to you. Is there perhaps another blind Sam? I highly doubt there is another blind Sam here in Zenith, but he is acting like I have nothing to do with him. I watch his face move from confusion to horror. He jumps down on the ground and bows to me. I don't like the feeling of being bowed to. Please forgive my insolence, son of Michael. If I knew it was you I would have acted differently. So he knows something, otherwise he wouldn't have known it's me. I grab him by the shoulder and stand him up. He has a face of both fear and admiration. I was captured by some thugs of the Church of the Dark Ones saying I'd meet you. I got away safe and sound before I could learn anything else. Now that is surprising information. I wouldn't doubt that the Church of the Dark Ones are using dark rituals to reveal parts of my future. I sit him back down in his spot and release a sigh now that my identity has been revealed to someone I don't fully trust. I'm glad he can't see my face now. Please don't act like that. I may be half angel, but I'm still half human too. Can I count on you not to reveal my true name to anyone, even your superiors at the Church of Light? I want to make sure he doesn't tell anyone about me. I don't want the church breathing down my neck. If Sam were to tell them my name then they would undoubtedly increase their search, and that isn't good for me. He looks at me with conviction. I can see that he isn't as depressed as he was before. Of course you can count on me. I would never betray the trust of the Almighty Father's grandson. Please, what is it you require of me? I won't be able to help much since I'm blind. I can at least help you with information. As soon as he says that my quest gets a new objective added, I open the quest to see the new information. What I see surprises me. Perhaps this is my trial to T.A.W. Quest: Earn your wings. Description: You are proving that you're the progeny of Michael, so now it's time to earn what every true angel has. If you earn your wings they will be an invaluable piece of you. They can help attack, defend, and you can use them to fly at extreme speeds. They can be hidden so your identity isn't revealed. Objective 1: Head to your capital city and speak to an old blind priest named Sam. Completed. Objective 2: Remove the pitch black darkness affecting Sam's vision. Quality: T.A.W. Rewards: Your angel wings, divine mana aura quest. This is an incredible task, and your first step to true power. You are already an unreachable existence to your fellow players, but there are many enemies who grow fearful of your power. These enemies are stronger than you and you can't hope to beat them. With this quest you will be starting your real journey to power. I hope you don't waste your chance here. I won't give you another one like this if you fail. I don't know how to remove his blindness though. the only way you can dive into someone else's mind is if you visit a mage that specializes in dreams. I have to do it, since curing his blindness is a part of my quest now. That means it plays a role in me tearing up. He must have done something that caused it, a curse or spell. If I know it, I might not need a dreams specialist. Can you tell me how you came to lose your sight? You must have done something to cause it. He looks down in shame and clenches his fists. He must have committed a forbidden act, and this is his punishment. He begins to tell me his story as his voice shakes. I was once a priest in the holy city, and I was an arrogantly powerful one. When I read the Book of the Seven Thunders, I was doing it for a person dear to my heart who was stricken with an incurable disease. My eyes had an ability to automatically transcribe and know any ancient language. It was my greatest pride. I used my gift to read the Book of the Seven Thunders, and I found the answer I needed. I learned a one-time healing technique, but soon after I read the book I lost my vision. I was able to save my love at the time, but I was exiled from the city and stripped of my title. So I returned here, and I have been staying with my brother for about a year now. So he read the Book of the Seven Thunders. I don't know much about the book. All I really know is that it was written by a man who could hear the Almighty Father. Apparently it has knowledge about anything you wish to know. It really isn't a book. More like a compacted library into a single book. The enchants used on the book are unknown to the Church. I find that his willingness to risk his life for his love is something amazing, even if he did it because he thought himself invulnerable. I don't know much about the Book of the Seven Thunders, but I have a suspicion you were cursed. The book is ancient and has exchanged hands many times. To think someone wouldn't tamper with it is foolish. I think I know my trial now. I'll help remove the curse from your eyes, Sam. Do you know any mages that specialize in dreams? He looks at me with a shocked expression, and I chuckle a little. A curse that took away his greatest strength. Sometimes curses affect people differently. For Sam it took his vision away. If it happened to someone like my mom, it would take all her memories of her kids while reminding her that it took those memories away. This is just a theory, of course, but it fits for now. I know of one man, but he is in the palace. He is the head mage for the new king, but I doubt the king will lend us any help with all the reconstruction going on. So I have to talk to Jackson anyway. It would be nice to see him after this much time has passed. I wonder what he is up to right now. He is probably talking to Tokil and Thosnal, but they will probably be gone by the time I get there. Receiving permission to speak to the king isn't an easy thing. I look over at the palace on the other side of the wall far away. Looks like we lucked out, Sam. I know the current king from my first difficult mission. If he hears I want to speak with him, I'm sure he'll help. We'll see what we can do about this curse, all right. I have no option other than succeeding. If I don't, I might not get my wings. I still have the lore tablet, but I'm going to see how this plays out. I'll go see if Jackson will lend me his help. I'll meet you back at Oliver's farm later tonight or in the early morning. He nods his head and begins his walk back to the farm. I look at the ruined landscape one more time. This is the fate of every city if the monsters win. Even though this was a human battle, the ruin is on the same level. Once I'm strong enough to stop them, I will. I make my way back to the gates and enter the city. Time to see if I can get an audience with the king. Chapter 84, A Reality of the Poor. It's going to be hard to get close to the palace. I bet security is high since cells of enemies might remain. I walk down the roads of the massive capital city. Capital cities are absolutely supersized in Ancient's world. Some capitals only hold 15 to 20 million people, but capitals like Zenith are capable of holding 100 million people. It goes to show the true size of Ancient's world compared to mine and the size of their armies. I look into the starry sky and see a beautiful clear night sky. I wish Earth had something like this, but pollution is a real problem. I see no citizens around and only see official workers. The guards are on high alert. I walk for a little while and see a pub still standing. The only ones are guards and merchants though. Most of the wealthy nobles live outside the city and away from the capital. Chance are they are still unharmed by the recent war. You can always count on the nobles to run and hide when they are called on for war, it's rare to find one that isn't a coward. I pass the pub and all the drunk guards, most of them lost their homes too, so I can understand getting drunk. I despise alcohol and any drugs, I've never tried them and I never will. Watching my sister go through what she did really showed me the reality of drugs. I'm glad her fate has changed this time around. While I'm walking, my thoughts drift to Alsoma and the monsters there. This war will eventually progress. The question is, where is the next target? The closest kingdom to Alsoma is Croria. The country of Croria is known for its wine and industry. They are also this continent's leading steel manufacturers. I bet their borders are being heavily fortified. It is a key location to defend against the monster armies. Speaking of monsters, I wonder how many species have sided with the orcs. The system lied to the players, and most are finding that out now. Another reason to be suspicious of JNX, I've never heard of a malfunctioning system AI, and I doubt JNX programmed it to lie to the players. Players will eventually step in and start helping in the war once they reach level 50 and Tier 1, and once the player population reaches level 150, Tier 3 leveling speed will slow down. The amount of EXP to level up at that point will be huge. I'll have a hard time getting levels with a half EXP debuff, and I know for a fact that players will start leveling up fast really soon. Avalon is another topic I need to think about. NPCs and player alike know very little of the place. The players that are there currently will be there for a long time. I wonder how many players were reassigned to Avalon. 80 million maybe, doubt it's over 100 million. Alsoma was a small country, so it would have a small player population. I wonder how many countries will fall till this war ends. I want to do something for all those that were captured by the monsters. It will have to wait though, and I doubt that by the time I can do something many would be alive from birthing so many monsters. Monsters grow at an accelerated rate. When a female is used, they can produce many offspring of monsters in a short amount of time. They use them till they die or can't give birth anymore, after that they throw them away like garbage. Fills me with anger at the thought of something like that happening right now. I didn't pay attention enough to notice that I'm in the old poverty district. I can tell because there's many homeless and sick people here. I look around as I continue to walk. This war has caused much pain, but these are the ones that suffer the most. The ones that are looked down upon. Every society has to put the value on everything. I wonder what my world would look like if money and greed didn't exist. Probably wouldn't have advanced far as a society. Peace traded for material things isn't something I agree with either, and that's what happened. Competition brought revolution, and revolution brought money, and it circles back around to where money caused competition. An obvious oversimplification, but it holds accuracy and truth. I'm stopped in my tracks as a little girl grabs my leather pants. Can you please spare some coin? My mom really needs medicine and we can't afford it. I look to where the little girl is pointing and see a sickly pale woman. Could be a scam. Unlikely though, the mother really does look sick. I look down at the little girl begging so she can save her mother. I see myself in the kid. I would do the exact same for my mom if need be. Here you go kid, should be enough to get whatever your mom needs. I pull out a bag of about 15 gold pieces and hand it to her. She looks ready to cry. I look over at her mom and see that she is trying to look grateful with the pained look on her face. Their father must have died defending the city. Harold probably used the poor men since the middle class and rich refused to fight. I watch her run back to her mom and hand her the gold. She tries to get up, but falls down hard. I can't stand here and watch this anymore. I walk over and help the woman up. I sling her arm over my shoulder and support her as she can barely walk. I'll take you to the healer, just tell me where it is. She looks ready to pass out. I watch her lift her hand and point ahead of us. It isn't much to go on, but I'll make sure she gets there. I try and walk with her by my side, but she trips and goes limp hanging off me. Instead of saying anything I pick her up and carry her. I carry her in my arms and let her rest. Since my strength stat is so high she feels as light as paper, I walk down the street and her daughter and son follow behind me. Eventually we make it to a makeshift campsite where rubble has been cleared out. I see sick and wounded shoulders inside the tents. I carry her in and look for someone who can help her. Soon I make eye contact with a middle-aged nun. I find an open cot and set her down. A guard in the tent says something to me. This tent isn't for the poor. Take her back where she came from and I won't execute you. I look at the man with fury. Something inside just hates people like him to the point that I would willingly kill them without provocation. I'm about to reach for my sword, but the middle-aged nun stops me. I look at her and she nods her head no. She then looks at the sick mother. If you have money for treatment, I'll help her. I'm sorry for his actions earlier, he is under strict orders from the general. She says that as she points towards the guard. He looks at me with anger. I believe he was ready to fight as well. He is a low-level guard as well, I can tell by the armor he is wearing. Most likely under level 50, I don't have the patience to inspect him. I turn my attention back to the nun and tilt my head to the kids. She looks over at them and sees the bag, the daughter hands it to her and she sees the amount. This is more than enough, whatever she has won't kill her yet. I'll be sure to cure your wife before sunrise. I slightly nod my head no in pity at the mention of being her husband. We are around the same age so I understand the mistake. Ah, I see. You're a better man than most in these walls. If more people reached out a helping hand this wouldn't be a dire situation. I'll watch over the kids and mother, your work is done. I make my way to the exit of the tent and I look at the guard one last time. He doesn't acknowledge me, I hope he does his job and protects these people. If I hear something happened here I would make sure all responsible parties pay for it. I make my way out of the tent and look towards the palace, only a couple more miles till I reach it. I start on my way again and I think about what I can do to help these people. I doubt Jackson will be able to do anything, despite being a king he has to listen to his nobles. If he doesn't they withdraw their support and move to a new kingdom with their wealth. It's a disgusting reality, but if you don't have money then you are screwed when war comes around. That's why most soldiers are from poor families, it's because they have nowhere to go once they reach adulthood. One of the many flaws of humanity and its treatment towards each other. Chapter 85, Important Update. I just want to let you all know that with the recent extreme weather going on I'm at risk for power outages. I live in eastern Oregon and I'm supposed to have a crazy 2 weeks of weather, and if my power goes out I won't be able to post. Everything is going fine right now and if I have power then I'll post, but I refuse to write chapters on my phone because my power is out. So I hope everyone stays safe in this crazy time, and I hope my power doesn't go out. As always, thanks for reading. Chapter 86, The Baron Now King. I feel good helping that broken family, but it's just a drop in the bucket in terms of people who need help. I bring my mind to something less sad. I wonder what mom and dad are doing on their adventures. I bet Marcus is proving to be a handful, but teaching him what the school would will be easier now that they are always together. He will try and find a way out of it, but I personally don't believe you have to know algebra to succeed in life. While I'm good at math, I've never had to use more than addition or subtraction after I graduated. I'm sure mom and dad will teach him better about life than any public school ever could. I open my friends list and I see that both of them are online, as well as the rest of the family. I could send them a player message, but they are probably busy. Just seeing that they are okay and are having fun is good enough for me. Young man, were you the one that helped that poor mother back there? I look towards the direction of an old female voice and see an older woman dressed in rags. I don't know how she could possibly know that since it just happened. She sees the confusion on my face and smiles with wisdom. I walk over to her and look at her to see if she has any magic hiding her identity. How could you possibly know about that? I just did it a few minutes ago. All she does is look at me with the same wise look that she has worn this entire time. I don't sense any magical power coming from her, and she doesn't look like a mage. Whoever this lady is, she is doing a great job about hiding her methods. Why did you want to know? I doubt that I can do much for others. She just fiddles with her hands and stays silent. Since she isn't going to talk, I might as well leave. I turn and start to walk away, then I hear her speak again. You have already done enough, young man, just remember she is always watching. I turn around to look at her, but when I do she is already gone. I question my sanity for a few seconds. I know she was just there. She seemed to have vanished into thin air. What did she mean by she is always watching? Sounds like something that is caused by my class and life rating. Unique encounters like this happen the better the class, perhaps this was one of them. I start on my way back towards the palace. I walk for a few minutes and I eventually hear a world announcement. Worldwide announcement: the monster armies have begun attacking the borders of Croria. They are being stopped by the church and the coalition soldiers for the time being. The outcome of this fight will determine the fate of Croria. Looks like the monsters have decided to attack Croria. I bet the alliance is moving to intercept them and stop the fight at the borders. Croria is important for weapons and armors, they will defend it fiercely. I don't think the monsters will get Croria, but many lives will be lost in the process. I wonder what Zenith's role in this war will be. With reconstruction there won't be much they can contribute. If anything, Jackson should ask for help rebuilding, but I don't know how to run a country, so I should keep those ideas to myself. I'm getting closer and closer to the palace, and the presence of soldiers are increasing as well. Some even look at me and wonder what I'm doing so close to the palace. I keep walking and ignore the looks I'm getting. Eventually I'll be stopped. I walk for some time and I meet a gate that is keeping people from getting to the palace. I can see a line of nobles and merchants looking to get in. They must want to speak to the king about business and ranks. When a new king is crowned and anything below the rank earl and countess needs to be reworked. Politics is a thing I don't want to get involved in, but I'll have to tolerate it till I can get Jackson's help lifting Sam's curse. This line isn't moving and I don't look the way a person should when meeting a king. So that means I need to sneak in, but I'm betting they have detection magic to determine where in the perimeter a breach occurred. So that leaves me no obvious options of getting in, and I doubt he'll be coming out here anytime soon. This is going to be harder than I thought. I wonder if there even is way in. Unless I intentionally get caught. If I can get close enough to Jackson or Charles before I'm apprehended, then I'll be able to speak with him. Now it's a race to see how far I can get inside the property before I'm caught, and the goal is to reach Charles or Jackson. I should find a private place to jump the perimeter and increase my odds. I leave the line and go back the way I came, and then I take a turn into an alley. I make my way to a secluded part of the perimeter and notice guards patrolling. I'll have to be quick. The goal is for me to get into the palace, but if I can't, then I'm screwed. This is an all-in gamble, and I don't like gambling. I prepare myself and get ready for a hot pursuit once I cross the perimeter. I see a gap in the guards that are patrolling around here. I take it and jump the perimeter. I move as fast as I can. I get closer and closer to the palace before I notice I have some special guards behind me. Stop! We are authorized to use deadly force. I'm too close to stop now. I can see them getting closer by the second. These guys are powerful and it would be bad if I tried to kill them. I see no time to use the front door to the palace, so I go for the closest window. I burst through it and scare the crap out of some maids. The guards at the end of the hall see me. Looks like I'm pinned. Guards on either end of the hall and some behind me. I also have no idea where Jackson or Charles are, so now it's cat and mouse. I head down the right side of the hall and charge the guards that are in my way. They draw their weapons and I dodge their attacks. They aren't as strong as the guys perusing me, but I don't want to take a hit regardless. Don't let him go any further. One of the guards that was pursuing me shouts out to the ones trying to impede me. That means someone important is in this direction. I rush down the hall and take the only available turn. Don't let him reach the throne room. Bingo, this is the way to the throne room. Hopefully Jackson is there, or I'm dead meat. I burst through the final doors and enter a massive and beautiful room. Some of the noblewomen scream and guards begin to surround me. I look around and spot Jackson. I immediately head towards him. Stop him before he reaches the king. Everyone's attention shifts to me and I see Jackson turn his head towards me. I smile and he gives me a look of questioning my sanity. I stop once we make eye contact and let the guards tackle me. They bring me to my knees and prepare to cut off my head. Stop at this instance. Do not harm a single hair on his head. I watch Jackson yell at the man with a sword to my neck. I could have activated my skills. My divine power would have given me away though, this was the only option. He quickly runs up to us and shoves the guys holding me down away. How dare you harm him? Everyone looks at him in confusion before he regains his composure. He must have remembered he is one of the only few that know my identity. He helps me up and brushes the dirt and glass off my clothes. I smile and look at the new home he has. The guards are looking at me in fury, they are still in kill mode. I ignore them and turn my attention back to Jackson. How have you been, old friend? Surely being a king is better than being a baron. He laughs at my first question for him. We both know that it isn't an easy transition and that he probably hates it, that's what makes it kind of funny. Soon Charles shows up as well and I wave to the nice and well-mannered butler. Looks like I succeeded in not dying. I look around and see that this is a party. Explains the line outside. I turn my head back to Jackson and give a big smile, he just sighs at my antics. It's nice to see a familiar face after all the crap I seen in Zenith. Chapter 87, The Court Magician. Many of the nobles at this party are looking at me funny, I've never been one to make a grand entrance. I ended up making a break in though, it's better than waiting in a line just for a guard to tell me I'm not allowed in though. I look back to Jackson and I can tell that he isn't too happy with the guards. They were just doing their jobs, Jackson. In the end it's my fault, I refuse to wait in a line just to be told no once I reach the front. Many of the present guards look at me with animosity, but Jackson shoots them a glare that stops anything further from happening. I'm sure you would like an explanation on why I'm here. Can we talk in private perhaps? Jackson nods his head yes and summon Charles. They lead me to a private office away from the party so we can speak without any ears listening in. Jackson heads over to the massive desk in this amazing office. There are bookshelves full of books and I can see a balcony overlooking the city. While Jackson digs around in his desk, I'll go ahead and take a look at the view. I walk out onto the beautifully sculpted balcony and see for miles and miles. The stars are easily visible and so is the construction in the city. Charles soon joins me while Jackson continues to dig around in his desk and files. Is there anything I can get for you, Slayer's Earn? Perhaps you would like some freshly made tea. I look over at Charles and nod my head yes with a smile. He makes his way towards the door and leaves. A little after he left, Jackson joins me on the balcony to see the amazing view. I look at his hands and he is holding a file of some sort, whatever it's for must involve me. It is good to see you again, Slayer's Earn. I must be honest, I never thought I'd see you again. I just chuckle, I wasn't sure I'd see him again either. I look directly at the folder and he sees me looking. I should explain. This is a grant for nobility in my kingdom, I want you to be a duke for my country. I just sigh at his words, I want nothing to do with nobles. As well as politics, this isn't who I want to be and he will surely be sad at my decline. I figured you wouldn't want to, I had to at least try. I don't even get to give him a verbal answer before he already know my answer. I do have an idea though, and it would be important to me if I could have it granted. While you can't have me as a noble, I do have someone in mind. He looks at me to continue, she isn't rich or well known. She is just a mother to a bunch of orphans, however she is my mother in game and I want to make sure she is taken care of. There is a woman that runs an orphanage in Bluegrass, her name is Amelia Zirn. As soon as I finish saying her name he understands. Her name gives it away, but if he wants his kingdom to have a connection with me, the way to do it is to protect Amelia and her orphans. Soon Charles comes back with some tea and brings it to the balcony for us to drink. We just enjoy it in silence as the night sky lights up the night. He sets his teacup back on his plate and clears his throat. I know you wouldn't come and see me if it wasn't for something important. So what is it you need? I'm glad that I don't have to waste time asking for help. I don't know if he will make Amelia a noble or not, but if he does he will be, so I'll have a personal tie to the kingdom. The things I need to discuss with him will not leave this room, and Jackson has proven that I can trust him. Charles is also someone I trust, but I don't know if the court mage will be someone I can trust. He is sure to find out who I am as well. Court mages isn't a rank any mage can get, and they are smart and shrewd. I set my tea down as well as I get ready to talk. It will be nice to have some help on my tier-up quest. The last time I did my tier-up quest in my old future it took me close to 2 months. I'm here on my tier-up quest. I need some help lifting a curse on a blind priest, and he told me your court magician might be able to help. I'm sure that you have much to do as king, and if you can't spare him for a couple days then I understand. Both Jackson and Charles look at me shocked. I have gained a lot of strength in a very short amount of time. Jackson goes back into his office and begins to talk to someone through a hologram. I won't listen, since I'm such a private person I should also respect others' privacy. There is some arguing, but I take my mind off the voices around me and focus on my thoughts. If the court magician can't help me then I'll have to use the lore tablet. While I would rather use it for the Divine Mana Aura quests, I'm prepared to use it for my tier-up quest. I still have a few 2x EXP boosts as well. I can use those to hit some dungeons before getting my Mana Aura. How has your journey been since Bluegrass? I'm sure it wasn't easy to give up a legendary item like that. Charles begins to talk to me. I wonder if they ever did get to use the item I got for them. The demands for it were incredibly high and I was happy giving it away. I turn around and lean my back on the railing and look at Charles. I've been to many places since the last time I saw you. The hardest was probably the trial of Monrel. The church would have found me had it not been for Monrel transporting me away. The trial is where I got this. I bring up my sword that is still in its sheath. The only thing he can see is the innate design of the handle. The sword is truly one countries would go to war for, and I'm the one that has it. While I've used my meta-knowledge to better my life, I've learned a lot about things I didn't know about. Take the fact that the future is changing, I can say much has changed. He leans down to inspect the sheath and handle. I watch him adjust his monocle from time to time. He won't know the true value. He can probably find out that it's very special though. He finishes inspecting it and I place it back to where it was. You have grown very strong in such a short amount of time. Many people would be jealous of your growth, but if they found out who you really were then they would understand why. I'm sure I'll run into people and players who think like that, but so many of the players are focused on themselves it might take a long time for that to happen. I'll eventually run into NPCs who are too stupid for their own good, but there are always encounters like that in life. I'm about to speak again, but both of us hear Jackson begin to yell at someone. I don't care about your research at the moment. I want you here in the next hour. If you are a minute late I'll cut all your funding. We both grimace at the yelling coming from the office. Keeping powerful mages in line is a very difficult thing to do. I tip the proverbial hat to Jackson for threatening to take the funding away. Having money for experiments is one of the only things that mages take seriously about other people. He walks back out of his office and I see him fix his ruffled clothes before joining us again. I'm sorry you had to hear that. Mages are some of the most annoying people to have under you. He should be here soon, so let's catch up about things. We begin to talk about things that are happening with the monsters and the new kingdom forming. They ask questions about my battles and fights. It's nice to talk with people who know who I am. I don't have to hide anything from them. Well, I do. Just not as much. After a while the door to the office opens and I see a man in his late 20s in magic gear. This must be the court mage. Chapter 88, The Court Magician 2. I look at the mage and the thing that draws my attention is the necklace he has on. It looks like a powerful item, its name slips my mind at the moment. He walks over to us and joins the conversation on the balcony. So what's so important that I need to be here? You know I have a lot of work to get done, and undoing the damage that Harold caused will take time. While I'm sure you want me to meet your young noble friend, I don't see the point of dragging me all the way here. The trademarked arrogance confirms he is a powerful mage. I won't inspect him since it would be rude. NPCs don't like getting inspected. Especially by players. I can see the obvious frustration on Jackson's face. Even kings can't keep powerful mages in line, and that speaks a lot about the mages of Ancient's world. Jackson pinches the bridge between his nose and releases a sigh. He mumbles something under his breath. I can't make it out though. He has been king for a very short amount of time, so I can guess how angry he is. This is the young man that brought us the legendary item. If you would be so kind to show respect to the one who saved many casualties in this war, I would be most appreciative. So they were able to use the item. How awesome is that? I wonder what it looked like. I bet it took a while to find someone who could use it. The mage looks at me with a hint of surprise. Tyre, I expect you to help this young man in his tier-up quest. He needs help lifting some sort of curse on another. I don't care if this messes up your schedule, I want your full cooperation on this. At least I know his name now. Tyre is a familiar name to me, I heard it in whispers in my travels from my old future. I don't have any useful information on him, just that he knows a lot about magic for someone so young. He looks at Jackson in disappointment and releases a deep groan. I'll help to the best of my abilities, but I make no promises. Curses are rarely studied, so this could prove a great opportunity for me. We can start right away if you wish. I'm fine with starting right away, but I want to make sure I can trust him. My secret will be known to him, I can't hide it with all this complex work. While it would be nice to keep my secret from someone like Tyre, I won't be able to. He could alert the church for a better station or access to more magic. It really is a gamble. I can ask Jackson if he is trustworthy. I turn my attention to Jackson and he gets my look. Can I trust this man with my secret, Jackson? I don't want him ratting me out for better benefits. I trust your judgment because you have proved to be a trustworthy man. Tyre looks at me kind of insulted. In the end I really don't need his help. It would be nice to not use my lore tablet though, so I'll see how this plays out. Jackson moves over to his desk and goes through some things. He pulls out an old photo of two kids and hands it to me. They look very similar to Jackson and Tyre, must be them when they were kids. I look back at Jackson and he takes a breath. Despite how we act towards each other, we are childhood friends. My family and his family have been comrades for a very long time, and I'm to marry his little sister in a few months once the transition is settled. I trust him very much, and he also has a bad history with the church. Even got himself banned from the holy city. Knowing that he doesn't like the church is a good thing, and being childhood friends with him puts stock in Jackson's words. I hand the picture back to Jackson and he just holds it, has a face of reminiscing old memories. I turn back to Tyre ready to explain the situation. The reason I wanted to ask if I could trust you is because I have a very important secret. He looks at me with some excitement. Give a mage a mystery and their attitude completely changes. I'm Archangel Michael's son. While you now know this truth, I hope you do keep it a secret. He looks at me like I grew another head. He soon regains composure and gives a slight bow in recognition. I have a sour taste in my mouth when I get bowed to. I'd like to make sure this situation doesn't become a habit. That makes 6 beings in total that know my whole identity, one of them being a dragon. While Sarah speaks to the 3 people in the room about his situation. There is a catastrophe happening at JNX. I look at the new countdown on the screen and a sense of doom overcomes me. Xander said we had a week, but it's only been a few days since the change has occurred. Xander said it's because of Angelus drawing power to the server room. Xander. What are we going to do? This isn't enough time to reach the goal. I don't know how to describe the feeling I have in me right now. it's different than what I felt when I saw the countdown. Xander looks at the screen with me, he has a solemn expression on his face. He has come to terms with the reality of our situation. I on the other hand have not. I thought that if I could save at least 10 billion I would be happy. The current player total right now is around 6.9 billion, and now we probably won't even reach 7.5 billion by the time of the collision. We did the best we could, Jericho. In the end we can't compete with Angelus, it's a miracle that we made it this far. I may sound insensitive, but the only ones we should worry about now is our own families. I'm sure there will be many demanding our blood once the truth gets out. Do you think we should still announce it now? I barely listen to Jericho. My mind is filled with different things, the most prominent is what the UN will do to us. If we announce it to the world it will cause mass panic, so we shouldn't even tell the UN of this development. It's the only way we can save our own lives. I stand up in the empty room, right now it's just Xander and me. We sent everyone home when we learned that a new countdown would happen, so none of our technicians or scientists know the new countdown. We won't tell anyone, Xander. At this point it's the only way to secure our protection and ensure that mass panic doesn't happen. What the people don't know won't hurt them. I don't like that line of thinking, but now that we have reached the end of the road all I can do is save the people who are already playing. I look towards Xander and see the pain on his face, it's not one caused by my choice. It's one because he agrees with me. I look at the screen to see the countdown till the collision. All we have left is 3 days, and the longer I look at the countdown the sicker I get. Angelus has been using the local power grid to pump power into whatever she is doing, and now that she has succeeded the countdown has come to this. Where do you plan on being the first couple weeks in Ancient's world? It would be wise of us to stay together, we both have pretty big families now. When people put the truth together a bounty will be put up for our capture, and we won't have any allies. I ask Xander an important question, I want our families to stay together in Ancient's world. We both have 3 kids and a wife, I would feel safer knowing I had some friends. Xander takes some time to find a good answer, picking the best starting city to stay in will be important. It will buy us a lot of time since our government will be destroyed, and everyone involved with the UN and world government will have no way to track us down and find us. They will be too busy trying to find out how to rebuild and communicate with the rest of the people that make it. My family and I will be spawning in Hexel, in the kingdom of Zenith. I'm going to head home and get my family all ready, I suggest you do the same, Jericho. He leaves me alone in the empty room. I have a small chuckle, I can't helping seeing the irony of the situation. Trying to control a spirit world with such power was surely a mistake, and now we are paying for it. Chapter 89, Lifting the Curse. I've explained the entire situation to T.A.W and I have yet to hear him speak if I have his help with this. He looks at me with the same look I have when I think deeply about something. From what you have described, your friend is having his vision taken from him. I might know a fix, but I'll have to investigate him in person. Can you take me to him? I'm glad that he is willing to try. I nod my head yes and walk towards the door. I hear him follow behind me and we make our way to the door. He turns his head back to say a final thing to Jackson. Don't wait up for me, I don't know how long this will take or how dangerous it really is. Jackson nods his head and looks to Charles. They are going to discuss something in private it seems. T.A.W and I make our way out of the palace and onto the streets of the ruined city. So how did you come to be the court mage for Jackson? I'm sure that it wasn't strictly because you were friends. Jackson isn't that irresponsible. He laughs at my deduction, in truth I have a good idea why he was selected. However, that conclusion is solely based on my working knowledge of T.A.W and that isn't much. I'm glad he didn't take offense to my question though. He has a look of contemplation on his face before answering me. He soon sighs and takes out a little notebook, he scribbles something down. He made me the court mage because of my unique healing and offensive magic. Believe it or not, I wield a legacy class myself. I had it ever since I was a boy, I got it when I was studying some old ruins in Melian. After that happened, my life changed and I became the most powerful magic user in my family. I wonder what his legacy class is. I knew nothing of this. I'm curious to ask more, but that seems rude of me. I'm glad I know that he earned his spot of power though. Most don't work for their goals anymore. We continue walking down the streets until we reach the gate to the city. We have no problems with the guards since he is a higher rank than them. My friend is staying at his little brother's farm. It's about a 10-minute walk from here, and I must warn you he is bitter about losing his sight. So keep the jabs at a minimum. I can tell that T.A.W's personality is one of the many that tease and make fun of others and their circumstances. I admit I don't like these types of people, but sometimes you can't avoid them in life. T.A.W isn't someone who knows what failure is like, and for all I know his life has been sunshine and rainbows. It's hypocritical of me to think this though, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He chuckles at my words, seems others' opinions of him don't affect his mood. I wish I had that much pride. I have too much bad memories of people like him. I'll be sure to take it easy on your friend, I'm here to help you guys after all. Just make sure that you keep him in line. I don't like priests, especially arrogant ones. He may have been humbled, but it will undoubtedly return. Everyone from the holy city has a stick so far up their ass, it really ruins the experience of the city. He got banned from the holy city, so I understand his feelings. I can't relate though. I have never been to the holy city, so I'll save my opinion till I experience it myself. I could see myself being enemies with T.A.W if my life was the same as last time. He reminds me of a bad time in my life, well, more so his attitude. So what's it like being an angel? I'm sure you get tons of special treatment, despite that you hide your identity. If I were you, I would live like a king and never know a day of hard work. I guess that's where we differ, isn't it? I can't help some of my anger from slipping out, all that appears is a scowl on my face. I can see that I won't like the time I spend with T.A.W, and I can see why Jackson has such a hard time with him. If I had to deal with T.A.W every day, I would yell too. I might even try and take his life. The farm is coming into view. I don't respond to his question of me being an angel. I have more important things to discuss than getting into a contest of measuring power with another. I'll go and get Sam. Meet us over at the viewpoint, it's his favorite spot to be. Remember, be nice to him. He is still blind and adjusting, hopefully after this he won't be. T.A.W nods his head and heads off towards the viewpoint. I make my way to the house and pass the tents that cover the massive front yard. I knock on the door and a woman answers it. She recognizes me as Sam's friend and lets me in. She takes me to him and he is sitting on his bed trying to practice his braille. Sam, I was able to get the help of the king. The court mage is waiting for us. Let's see if we can't get that blindness lifted. Sam hears my voice and gets all formal and stuffy. Old habits die hard, don't they? He stands up with his walking stick and makes his way towards me. For all I know, this is his last time being blind. I wonder what it's like experiencing total darkness even when your eyes are open. I'm glad that you are going through all this trouble to help me. I'll try my best to make sure you succeed in your quest. I wonder if I would be treated like this by everyone from the church. Thinking about it more, I wouldn't. Sam had a reality check when he lost his sight, and it made him a better man. A bitter one, yes, but one better than he once was. We walk side by side to the viewpoint and I can see T.A.W waiting for us. We eventually make it to him and I sit Sam down. T.A.W takes a good hard look at Sam and his eyes. I'm going to use some magic to see if you have anything affecting your mind along with your eyes. You might feel a numbing sensation, but that's normal. T.A.W gets to work right away. I watch him cast some spells. I recognize some, and fail to others. You definitely have something affecting your eyes. You should thank the lucky stars your mind is intact from such a curse. This is a custom-made curse, whoever made it knew what they were doing. It's specifically designed to target the strongest part of a person. The bad news I have is we can't remove it without someone willing to take the burden from you. Sam's body slouches at the prognosis of T.A.W, we know what we are dealing with now. The good news is Zirn can take the burden. I look at him as if he is as dumb as a sack of bricks. You have powerful angel blood, the curse won't affect you like it would Sam. He brings up a great point. I sigh thinking what this could mean for me. What do you think it would do to me? I doubt it could affect my body like it would Sam or yours. If anything it would attack my mind, that's my greatest weapon. Tyre just smiles. I have a bad feeling about this and I have no clue what he plans to do to transfer the curse. He holds out his hands in a manner for me to take a seat. You better know what you're doing Tyre, I may be immortal and half angel. I can still hold a grudge though. He just laughs at my words. He begins to cast some spells I know nothing about. I learned something today. People like Tyre should be avoided as much as possible. As soon as I hear the casting stop I pass out, I fall off the bench and begin feeling very tired. After a few hours of sleeping I wake up in my bed, I'm not in Ancient's world anymore. I look over to my gaming pod and see my old equipment. I'm brought out of my confusion as I hear yelling from downstairs. How dare you bring drugs in my house? You are leaving today Haley. I expect you gone by midnight. I know that voice and those words. I think I know what's happening right now, and I can't help feeling a sickness envelop me. This is what my life was like before I made my wish. Seems this curse wants to destroy my greatest power, and that's my family. Chapter 90, A Fate I Changed. I look around the same tiny room I grew up in and the same house we always had. This is a future that caused pain and heartbreak. I lost so much and I didn't think I would ever get it back, but I did. The wish I made changed everything, and my life is a billion times better this time around. I scoot to the edge of my bed and just sit there contemplating. From the screaming match earlier I can tell it's getting close to the worst moment in my life. Now is around the time Haley inadvertently killed Mom. People do desperate things for their fix. Haley is willing to do anything for the substances that make her feel something. I stand up and head into my bathroom. I look into the mirror and see a face that aged beyond repair. The stress of this life caused a serious toll on my body, and all my hard work from my new life is looking for naught. I'm glad I know this is from the curse, or else I would lose my mind. The curse is attacking my love for my family, and it wants me to experience the suffering of losing them. I walk over to the closet and get dressed. I head down to the same kitchen I grew up with and see my mom crying. Haley isn't here right now, and I know where she is going. I walk over to my mom and just give her a hug. She is weeping for the current life her daughter has. Sarah, where did I go wrong in life? Everything is falling apart. I don't know what to do anymore. My spirit breaks when I hear those words. This is an event I wanted to never remember again. I look towards the door and see Dad enter. He just got off work. Even now he is doing his damnedest to save us from debt, but in the end he lost the most. Hey honey. It's worse than what we thought it was. I tried to talk to her, but it ended like it always does. I let go of Mom as she talks to Dad. I look at both of their faces and see the defeat. I walk towards the kitchen and head for the fridge, but as I'm reaching for the handle darkness envelopes the world around me. Soon the scene changes to something I hoped never to see again. I look at the monster of a man that ruined my sister's life and by extension my family's. He is holding a gun to my mom's face as my sister shoots up the drugs she was given. I followed Mom here to make sure she was all right. I didn't know at the time. She came to get her daughter back and try to save our family. She came with hope and love for her daughter. Haley. Please come home with me. It's not too late to stop this. My strong mother isn't wavering in her attempts despite a gun to her head. The face of the man contorts in rage from being dismissed. I watch him pull the trigger and kill my mother. I see the uncaring high expression of my failure of a sister. She doesn't even know what just happened. I feel a huge rage fill me, one that I didn't have last time. I'm not the same weak little man I was. I feel for the first time in my life a sense of bloodlust. Before I can jump out and try to take his life, darkness returns and the scenes change. Now I'm standing in front of a grave with my father and little brother. My anger and rage is still present, but it falters at the sight of my buried mother. I'm taking Marcus home. Let me know when you are coming home. I'm going to see if the cops have any leads on where they went. In my old future I didn't attack the man after he killed my mother, I sat there like a coward. I'm reliving the destruction of my family and I can't do anything about it. I kneel down to look at the little headstone and I feel tears fall at an uncontrollable rate. My best friend lies here dead in the ground, and I can do nothing about it. I look at the words inscribed on the tombstone, and I feel a rage I have never felt before. Reading these words brings the hate I have for my old future bursting to the surface. Arg! I hate this. How could you take her away? I slam my fist into the hard dirt over and over again, yelling out to whoever is listening. It's just not fair. My mother never did anything to deserve this fate, and now she is alone in the cold dark ground. Buried here is Violet Adamo. A loving mother, and caring wife. She gave her life in attempt to save her daughter. She left us too soon, but she is in a better place where there is no pain. May she rest in peace. Born, 2173. Died, 2240. I stand up and all I see is red. I wish I knew where that man was. If I did I would murder him and parade his corpse through the streets. As my rage and anger grow further the scene changes, and I'm brought back to Ancient's world and I notice that I'm in a familiar spot. This is the place I made my wish from the world item. I start walking towards the ancient-looking doors and I open them. I look upon a chalice full of blood. I use inspect on it and read the same information I did the first time I made my wish. Blood of the Almighty Father. Description: not much is known about an artifact of such rarity, but it's claimed that drinking the blood of the Almighty Father will grant you a single wish. Anything you want or can think of. Use wisely, it only has a single use. I walk up to the chalice and look into the golden liquid. This is the same as last time. I reach out for it and as soon as I do the world goes pitch black again. The scene changes back to the bed I always slept in and I hear the screams of my mother once again. How dare you bring drugs in my house? You are leaving today, Haley. I expect you gone by midnight. I already know what's happening. This curse is going to make me suffer my worst memories of my family falling apart and showing my salvation, just to rip it away and start all over. I go through this cycle over and over again, and my rage and anger is piling on. I don't know what I can do to get out of this, but my mind is slowly slipping from experiencing this pain again. After going through this for an uncounted amount I lose track of how much time has passed. I don't know if it's been hours, days, or years. Eventually, after playing through these memories for the umpteenth time, I feel my emotions reaching critical mass. I've tried to keep logic and thought present, trying to figure a way out of this. I'm losing myself to my emotions though, and the darkness fades again to reveal the scene of my mother at gunpoint once again. I run out and try to stop it like I have for the last 100 times, but he pulls the trigger before I can do anything. I watch the bullet rip through my mom's skull. It adds the final straw to the raging fire in me. My world fades to darkness again, and I get on my hands and knees. I hate you. Arg. Lead me out. I don't have any rational thoughts going through my mind, and I just scream into the eternal darkness. As Sarah releases the emotions he has been bottling up, a glow surrounds his body. A divine light surrounds him and begins to pierce the eternal darkness. Soon a light exits his back and large, strong, glowing golden wings burst from his back in a shower of blood. Sarah fails to notice anything while lost in pure emotion. A demonic voice rings out as the brilliant light shakes the darkness. No. I can't fail. You have to stay trapped here. The voice tries to keep the darkness together. A spider web pattern spreads across the darkness. Light fills through the cracks to see the systematic breakdown of the curse. In Ancient's world, Sarah's body is resting on a lavish bed. Nobody is in the room except for Jackson and Tyre. I look at the resting body of my young friend. I didn't think Zirn would suffer so greatly as an angel. The curse must be more than I thought, truly a mystery indeed. It's been 2 days already, are you sure he'll pu? While my old friend Jackson tries to ask me a question, we both lose our balance as the whole palace begins to shake. Neither of us have time to react as we hear the screaming voice of Zirn. It isn't one that sounds mortal, it has a deep echo effect to it. It also rings out in a sort of double manner. Light bursts from the sleeping young man and completely annihilates the roof above him and disintegrates all surrounding furniture. His scream echoes and trembles the palace, for all I know the whole city is shaking. I look as his closed eyes struggle to open, and I watch long, powerful, and golden feathered angel wings burst from his back. They drip with his blood, the mix of gold and red add to my fear for my life. As all this is happening, an announcement rings throughout the world for players. He has awoken. The whole of Ancient's world shakes as the screams of Zirn echo for all to hear. Soon after the players hear the announcement, the NPCs do as well. Every NPC aligned with the Lightnovel has the world shakes. The palace is in disarray as the swirl of power continues. The darkness trying to suppress Seraph final falters, and his eyes open as his world of pain and torture ends. I open my eyes and see Jackson and T.A.W trying to shield themselves. I straighten out my thoughts, and realize that I'm yelling. I stop and look around. I notice I'm floating. I'm also slowly destroying the palace. I see the light surrounding me and notice that my power is being channeled. I stop it and the chaos stops, the light recedes into my body and I take a breath to control my shaking body. Jackson and T.A.W try to say something to me, but all I hear is the ringing in my ears. I feel something new attached to my back and I reach around to feel. Massive golden wings covered in my blood is what I see and feel. Despite the gold, they feel extremely soft to me. I run my fingers through them and I can feel the sensation of them being touched. I feel extremely drained and before I know it I fall from my floating position. I fall through the hole below me and descend fast as my body fails to listen. I'm pretty tired and I find myself asleep before I hit the ground. Unknown to Sarah, T.A.W used magic to catch the falling Zirn. T.A.W uses a very expensive teleportation scroll to teleport Zirn to a safe place away from the capital. All the major powers in Ancient's world knows what just happened. The son of Archangel Michael has reached Tier 1 and unlocked his first rise of real power.